So when you have a patient who wants like an unrealistically low hairline or a hairline that you don't think is going to look natural, how do you approach that situation?
When the clients come to us, we always explain to them, you're going to have 2 to 3 sessions. You could always start conservative, start higher, and then maybe on the second session we'll drop it lower. So you never want to have like, you know, an 18-year-old hairline if you're in your 30s, 40s, or 50s, because down the road we can always soften it with laser if they say they want a softer hairline. If, say in the beginning they start with the edge up and they said, you know what, down the road I want to have it more natural. So they could actually go through and we can soften it more, or you can even do a little bit of laser to make it more feathered and subtle. So it's nice to have the option of actually changing your hairline even throughout the years, so you're not always stuck with the same hairline.
Jonathan, what are some of the risks involved with SMP?
So the risk with SMP is one of the main things for, especially for women, is they can't shower for 4 days.
외국 같은 경우는 이 애프터 케어를 엄격하게 빡시게 하더라고요. 보통 저희는 뭐 하루 이틀 정도 머리 안 감으시면 된다고 얘기를 하지만 외국 같은 경우는 뭐 4일, 일주일 동안도 머리를 안 감기를 이렇게 권유를 하더라고요.
Their head. That's a risk. Serious note, the risk involved is there's virtually no risk as long as you don't go out there in the sun within the first 4 to 5 days. You want to avoid any long-term exposure to the sun during the first session, especially the second and the third session. So 4 days after each session, stay out the sun.
And what happens if you get into like more sun exposure?
You don't want to have your body temperature get too hot. You don't want to sweat because the heat will stop the pigments from curing and settling in the skin. It's like getting a tattoo. You know, the first week, you want to keep it cool. You don't want to wear a hat in the sun and let that sun bake in the scalp because the pigments won't cure and settle. Because, you know, with tattoos, that goes into the liquid form. So under your skin, it kind of hardens up. So the ink, you have to give it a chance to really keep cool.
저희가 이제 시술을 하신 분들도 이제 머리를 감으시고 머리를 헤어드라이기로 말릴 때도 꼭 찬바람을 쓰라고 말씀을 드리고요. 사우나 같은 데 가게 되면 두피가 굉장히 뜨거워지면서 땀이 나게 되잖아요. 분명하게 점이 빠질 수가 있거든요. 시원하게 유지하는 게 굉장히 중요한 것 같아요.
Is it a concern that you have like a more diffuse type of effect as opposed to like seeing each dot? It might start to kind of like intermix with
Exactly.
each other. Okay, got
The
it.
blowout, the famous blowout. So
블로아웃이라 그러는데 이 블로아웃이 뭔가 분출된다 그런 뜻이거든요.
see a lot of bad jobs online is because the pigments are migrating.
잉크가 한 곳에 너무 많이 들어간 상태에서 이 잉크가 이동을 하면서 저희 말로는 떡진다 그러거든요. 이 잉크들이 한 곳으로 모여서 면처럼 이렇게 형성이
They're putting so much ink into a controlled area.
Yeah.
Like
1제곱인치라고 가로 세로 6.45cm의 구간에 1200개의 모근이 있는 게 건강한 사람이라면 그 정상이고요. 30대 이상부터는 이제 800개 정도가 정상이라고 해요.
Human head has 1,200 hairs per square inch. So what we do is you don't want to try to put 1,200 hairs into a first session on a client because then all the dots are just going to form to one big puddle. So say somebody's got, you know, somebody in their 30s, they got maybe 800 hairs per square inch. So what we're doing is we're breaking into sessions. We're not going to put 800 on the first session. We're going to put maybe 100 to 200 on the first. Second session, we put another 100. Third session, maybe another 100. So we want to create the illusion that there's 800 hairs per square inch, especially in the balding zone. So not everybody's got the healthy full head of hair. So as time is, you know, depending on your age, your ethnicity, and how your body reacts, everybody's different. So that's what we do is we try to replicate the follicles of the hairs that you still have.
So Jonathan, I know you've been in this field for a long time. You're one of the pioneers of SMP in the country and in the world. Any interesting stories that you can share about your journey? I
was, you know, a subcontractor for the first 5 or 6 years of doing SMP. And I decided, you know what, let me go solo and build a business. So during them times, I was in high demand. I had a lot of people approaching me. I had it down to a few options, and one of the options was actually Damon John from the Shark Tank.
Wow.
Yeah. During that time, I met my business partner now, Eric Roberto, who is a master barber in Upper Manhattan. Eric was one of my clients in the beginning, but we created a good friendship. He approached me saying he wanted to get into this industry. So the reason I chose Eric as a partner is he brought a lot of value. Not only he runs businesses, but during the time before I partnered with him, he was bringing clients to me. He would give me maybe 20, 30 clients a month, just giving them to me. He's like, hey, you know, don't worry about the money, you know, but I knew he was building me up. He's like, you know, here's a client, don't worry about the money. You keep that money. Ultimately, I made the best decision. I chose Eric. Now we run one of the most successful SMP companies in the world.
Try to catch me howling at the moon.
테크닉이나 그런 부분에 대해서 설명을 하는데 번역을 다 제대로 해서 올려드리도록 하겠습니다. 꼭 구독과 좋아요 부탁드리겠습니다. 네, 감사합니다.